The gym is a mostly fun and happy place, but there are certain exercises that can turn it into a nightmare. That's why today we will go over the most dangerous gym exercises of all time, so that you know what you should stay away from and what you should be careful about when you do certain exercises. Our first problem maker is occlusion training. In other words, blood flow restriction training. This method is all about restricting the blood flow to the body part that you are training by using this special cuff, most famously known for being used on bicep training, but it can pretty much be used on any body part of your choice. And as you could suspect, restricting your blood flow can be really dangerous if done incorrectly. And to be honest, in some cases even when done correctly. The potential benefits from using this technique are really negligible in my opinion, because with this technique you usually want to use a very light weight, so you are not really damaging your muscles like you would normally. It's more of a fluff and puff. Yes, you get the crazy burn and a massive pump, but that is not really an indicator that you are getting bigger. It just feels good, and that's all that it is. And you have to keep in mind that you never know if you have some underlying blood or heart-related condition until it's too late. So I would highly recommend you stay away from this technique, no matter how much some dude on TikTok told you it's the best thing ever. You know, even if the chance of something bad happening was 1 in a million, it could still happen. Imagine that this video gets 1 million views, meaning that you, the one watching this video right now, could be the one who gets in trouble. Maybe if the technique was really good, then the risk versus reward could be justified. But in my opinion, the occlusion training is just a gimmick that is not worth risking the nerve damage or a blood clot. If you are really set on improving your biceps, I would much rather recommend you to try the barbell curl, which I made a full video on. I promise you that this will be 1000 times better than trying to give yourself a blood clot. Our next offender is squats. But wait a second, I always recommend that you do squats, so what is this about? Well, the problem is not really in the exercise itself, it's in the setup. And this one thing I'm about to tell you is really important. You could even say it's a question of life and death, as the squat is responsible for a lot of fatalities in the gym each year. But this can be so easily prevented, but some people just don't care, I guess. What you absolutely need to do when you squat is set up safety pins on the squat rack. Set them up at a height at which you won't touch them when you squat all the way down. Put them just slightly below that. That way, when you are unable to finish the rep, you can just throw the weight on the safety pins. And you should also do this on the bench press, if you don't have a spotter and you are not sure if you can manage the weight by yourself. But back to the squat, because setting up safety pins is just one half of the equation. You actually need to know what to do when you fail a rep or when something goes wrong. You always need to throw the weight behind you. Never, and I repeat, never try to throw the bar in front of you. Because this is exactly how most fatal accidents on the squat happen. People just guillotining themselves with the barbell. But don't be scared. If you always drop the barbell behind you and you have safety pins set up, the squat is very safe. You shouldn't be afraid to just throw the bar on the safety pins where you just can't do another rep. It doesn't matter that it makes a lot of noise or whatever. The safety pins are there for that exact reason. And let me just quickly interrupt this video to show you my training and nutrition plans. They are an excellent choice no matter if you are just starting out or if you are already more advanced, as these training and nutrition plans are heavily based on the fundamentals, which makes them easy to follow and understand. And you know what I always say, the basics stood the test of time. So if you are looking for results and not just some stupid gimmick, go give these plans a shot. You can find them down in the description below. And now back to the video. Next up we have the leg press. Once again, the leg press is a great exercise, so what's the problem? Well, there is one thing that you should just never do on the leg press, and that is overextending your knees when you push the weight up. Because then you will find out very quickly that your knees can in fact also bend the other way. So remember, never fully overextend your knees on the leg press. Now we have something that you have probably already seen in the gym, and that is doing the deadlift with some very questionable form. If you decide to roleplay as a cat when doing the deadlift, you will find out very quickly that unlike the cat, you don't have 9 lives. So to prevent that, you should do the following. First of all, film your sets. And I don't want to hear something like, I don't want to film my sets, it's weird. In my gym, there are 50-year-old dudes recording their sets, and I'm pretty sure it's not for their TikTok. So do that, because you need to see what is happening with your back. You might think that your back is straight, but trust me, once you see it from a different point of view, you might see something a little different. Then once you have your form in check, there is only one more thing that I would recommend you to do. And that is, stop doing 1 rep maxes. Unless you are a powerlifter, doing 1 rep maxes is just pointless. Sure, if you want to do 1 rep maxes once every couple of months, that's fine, but doing it on a regular basis is just a terrible idea. And don't try to be like, I want to do the hardest stuff possible, because the real ones know that doing high rep deadlifts is much harder than doing a 1 rep max. Have you ever tried to do a set of 20 repetitions on a deadlift with very challenging weight? Well, yeah, I would also rather do a 1 rep max than do high rep deadlifts, because that is truly as close as you will ever get to visiting hell. Oh, and we of course can't forget about the rack pull, especially about the above the knee variation. If you are looking for the #1 ego lifting experience in the world, the above the knee rack pull would be exactly that. Because the range of motion on this exercise is like 1 inch, which allows you to ego lift like a maniac. So it's not really about how much you can lift, it's more about if the barbell can withstand all the plates you stole from the whole gym. And I'm not gonna lie, I was guilty of doing this exercise in the past. Am I ashamed? Maybe. Was it kind of fun? Hell yeah. Did I almost break my spine doing it? Also yeah, that's kind of the problem. So if you are someone who is not used to such heavy loads, and let's be honest, pretty much no one is used to suddenly lifting like 800 plus pounds, then the likelihood of some back injury is very high. Not to mention that the straps that you will use will hit the bin pretty quickly. And I consider myself very lucky that I didn't injure myself while doing that exercise in the past. Because this kind of mindset of I'm either gonna lift this or I'm gonna break my spine only sounds cool when you are like 16 years old. No offense to all the youngsters out there, but you are really not invincible. I just want to give you a heads up so you don't repeat the same mistakes as I did. And now, moving on to one of the most dangerous exercises that you should just never do. If I say it's a neck exercise, some of you might already know what I'm going to talk about. Yes, it is neck bridges. You might have seen the video of Mike Tyson doing them and think, wow, look at his neck, the neck bridges must be working. I mean, sure, they kind of worked, but they also destroyed his neck in the process. And he later went on record to say that he had to get a neck surgery to fix what the neck bridges did to him. And we are talking about Mike Tyson here. He knew how to do neck bridges. If you try to do neck bridges without any prior experience, you will not even get to the point where your neck gets destroyed by the repeated use. No offense, but you would probably somehow mess up your neck before you would even get to that point. And I'm telling you that from my own experience, as I have dabbled with neck bridges in the past, and the exercise is just very unforgiving. Because the neck is a vital part of your body that is very susceptible to injuries. So you should stay away from neck bridges. Because there is so many other ways in which you could train your neck which are much safer. And you don't even need any equipment to do so. And if you are doing martial arts or any contact sports, having a strong neck will give you a big edge over your opponent. Plus, you will just look like an absolute tank. In the past, I made a video about neck training that will tell you absolutely everything that you need to know. So if you are interested in neck training, I would highly recommend you checking it out. And that's all I got for you today. I hope that you learned something, stay safe out there, and I will see you next time. I was serious, neck training really makes you look like a tank. Go check it out.